Okay, so I believe we are live. Welcome everybody back to the Train for Longevity podcast. I'm Michael DeCrose, founder and CEO of Pine Pollen Superfoods and Train for Longevity. With me today is Jack Clancy, owner of the blog Fat, Broke, and Stupid. Did I get that right?
Yeah, fatbrokestupid.com. That's me.
Okay. And I asked Jack to come on. I get a daily alert of men's fitness, men's health, anything that Google recognizes as being, top of mind and being very popular. And Jack, last week you came up as the number one result that Google recommended that I go out and check out. And Jack, and we'll give an introduction here in a moment, but what Jack did is he completed 100 push-ups a day for almost 11 straight months and experienced an incredible transformation and some amazing results in general. So we wanted Jack to come on and talk about his journey and walk us through all of that. So welcome, Jack, to the show. And with that, if you could just give us, introduce yourself and some background on your blog and what motivated you to start it and the type of things that you discussed there.
Absolutely. Thanks, Michael. And I got to say, that's very flattering of Google to throw me up there, number one. That's definitely an honor for someone like me who, in fact, I used to be quite obese growing up. I was a big boy and I was always overweight. And for me, it was almost kind of just normal. And I had a Simpsons moment. Michael, I don't know if you ever watched The Simpsons back in the day, but there was an episode where Homer intentionally tried to gain weight to go on disability. And there was a scene there where he was weighing in at about 296 pounds, where if he'd gone over 300 pounds, he could go on disability. And then not so long after seeing that, I was standing on the scale myself and I weighed in at 296 pounds and I was shocked. I knew I was big, but I guess I never really realized how big I was until I stood on that scale. And I had a kind of a moment there to myself, and I said, okay, either I go for it and I break 300 and have some fun with this, or I start going back down the other direction and never even come close to 300. And fortunately for me, I decided that I should probably start losing some weight and get myself a little bit healthier right then and there. And that was many, many years ago. I was 17 years old at the time. I'm 34 now. So it was literally half a lifetime ago for me. And it hasn't always been easy, learning how to be healthy and learning how to include proper nutrition and daily exercise into my life. And there were some obstacles along the way, some setbacks, some distractions and temptations as well. But it was always there, and little by little, I got better at it until, here we are today. And now Google is recommending me as a model in health and fitness, which is pretty cool.
Awesome. I don't even know if you're aware, but Men's Fitness, the Men's Fitness website featured you also, I saw. So congratulations. That's a big accomplishment to be featured on such a large publication.
It is, man. It's mind blowing. And the funny thing is you probably found out about it before I did. After publishing the month 11 update of my push-up challenge, I took a little break, right? Managing the website and the YouTube channel and all of this. For me, it was quite a lot of work. And I was like, okay, it's time to take a little break. And then as soon, literally days after I decided I was going to deconnect for a little while, the Men's Fitness thing happened and the YouTube blew up and I was getting tons of views and awesome messages from all the subscribers. And I was totally clueless until I hopped back on one day and I was like, oh my God, what's happening? So I got in touch with the guys at Men's Health and they're super nice, really awesome. And they've since they've published the conclusion of the full year. They've published that article as well. And they've been really encouraging and supporting for me. And it's such an honor because, when I was learning about health and fitness and what I can do for my own body, Men's Health and Fitness was a huge inspiration and a great source of information for me. So it was really humbling, really honoring. And it was really cool to see myself on the website as well.
Awesome. So what came first, the blog and the journey, or were those two part of one and the same, where the blog became this a piece of the puzzle to help motivate you and keep you going?
Yeah, great question. I mean, prior to even starting the blog, I had already lost about 100 pounds, which in and of itself is, significant. There aren't too many people out there who can say they've lost 100 pounds and kept it off for years and years and years. And for me, I mean, it's kind of just normal. And in fact, a lot of the people that I know now don't even know that I used to be so overweight and quite frankly obese. Right, I was class 2 obese at my height and weight. Um, so people didn't even know. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I casually mentioned to him, yeah, I lost 100 pounds, and it blew his mind. And I thought it was cool. Oh, like this is actually something interesting and maybe inspiring, and maybe by sharing my story, not only can I help myself, but also help other people and encourage other people who are potentially in a similar situation to where I used to be and where I am now. So that idea had been floating around in my head for a little while. I was also very interested in introducing myself to the online space. Leading up to creating the blog, I was an analog man. Everything I did was pen and paper, and I was hopeless with technology. Even setting up a Zoom call like this would have been a challenge for me, 2 or 3 years
Oh,
ago.
yeah.
It was terrible. So a part of me wanted to get better at technology, right? As eloquently as I just said that. And I was very interested in starting a blog as a means of sharing my experiences, sharing my story, and connecting with other people who are also interested in becoming healthier, becoming fitter, who perhaps have either already lost a lot of weight or are interested in losing weight moving forward and who want to have a healthier lifestyle. So I knew I wanted to get online, and of course also as a business, right? Something that I can make for myself and be my own boss and create my own content and have a platform for my own ideas to be creative, to take risks and chances and do things that'll probably fail and do a few things that'll succeed. So that was another motivator for me as well, was just to learn. I love learning, and I identified that this was a big gap in my skill set. So I wanted to learn, and learning how to make a website, learning how to be a storyteller, and learning how to be a better writer. And then, of course, when YouTube happened, learning how to make and edit videos and do all of the technical stuff. So that was one side of it. And then as far as the name and the challenge goes, I was walking around one day, and I was right in front of my gym that I was going to. And again, despite already having lost 100 pounds, and despite already, having kept it off for so long, and having had some success in previous work experiences as well, I was feeling that day kind of fat, broken, stupid. Like it was just, I was having one of those days, and a lot of people have them, and on that particular day I had it. And the phrase "fat, broken, stupid" popped into my head, and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of catchy. I kind of like that."
Mm-hmm.
And
That's a great name for a blog.
yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So I went online, and I knew I wanted to start a website, so I did a domain search, and sure enough, a few combinations of fat, broke, and stupid, and a few other combinations were already taken, but fat, broke, stupid was free. So pretty much in that moment, I said, "Okay, yep, mine. I'm taking it." And I wasn't really 100% sure what was going to happen after that, but I knew, okay, this is my name, this is happening, and let's figure it out from there. And then as far as the push-ups happened, I had again, I'd lost a lot of weight, but I hadn't necessarily developed the strong, muscular, aesthetic body that everybody wants to have, and the types of bodies that you typically see on Men's Health, right? And I felt like, okay, it's time to push myself and to take my health and fitness a little bit more seriously, and perhaps even more professionally. And it had been somewhat of a dream of mine for years and years and years, but I never really committed to it, or I never really accepted it as something that I could do. Right? I always had this self-image that, I'm just a big funny guy. I'm not a big strong muscle guy. But I said, why not? Let's change that, and let's do something big, right? Let's Nothing small, no small potatoes, but let's do something that'll be a real challenge, something that'll be doable, but that'll really push me to my limits. And I came up with push-ups. because push-ups are kind of your classic. You know, if you're a strong, healthy person, you can hit the floor and you can do push-ups. And sure enough, I couldn't, and I didn't like that. So I really wanted to, and I was looking online, and I was on YouTube, of course, a great source of inspiration and motivation for anyone out there hoping to lose weight. And I came across all these, 30-day push-up videos, before and after results. And then I came across this one by a guy named Simple Man, and he did it for a year. I was like, no way, that's ridiculous. That's not safe. It's not healthy. You're going to injure yourself. All these bad things are going to happen. I have to watch this video. So I watched the video. Sure enough, he did it. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea. If a simple guy like that can do it, why can't a fat broke stupid guy like me do it? So I started, and I said, you know what? If I'm going to do this, why not document the process on a monthly basis as opposed to just the first month and just the last month? And to me, that's something that I would be interested in seeing is the journey from beginning to end, all of the challenges and successes along the way, but also to get a better idea of, hey, like if I'm gonna exercise and do some body weight calisthenics every single day, what type of results could I also expect to get, from a normal dude doing like just not a normal thing. Doing 100 push-ups every day for a year isn't necessarily normal, but I wasn't going totally obsessive on my training or even my diet. And yeah, I lost some more weight, and yes, I was generally healthier during the whole process, but kind of just a normal dude trying to get fitter and stronger, and seeing that progression to me would have been really cool. So I said, why not? I'll do it. And that combined with really wanting to get online and starting a blog and thinking about making a business, it all kind of came together, and that's how it happened.
Oh, that's crazy, man. I could never have imagined. I mean, I exercise every day, but I think the idea of doing one thing and being able to stick with it is insane. So I props off to you for sticking with it as long as you did.
Cheers.
So you said you lost 100+ pounds. That's obviously not just push-ups. So what other kinds of things were you doing to experience such a dramatic change in weight?
Yeah, I mean, it's a 17-year journey, so there's a lot to tell. But the beginning was just realizing, how bad the situation had gotten for myself, and saying, okay, this is not okay anymore. I can't continue down this path. If I keep doing this, I'm going to die when I'm 30, and it's just an unsustainable life, and quite frankly, an unenjoyable one. Always being self-conscious about the way you look, the way that clothes fit, the way that other people are looking at you. Heaven forbid, looking for a romantic partner, not good. So I wanted to improve all of those things. And a lot of it started with getting back into competitive sports and being a bit social that way. And I say back into because when I was a kid, I used to play Irish football. I played baseball. I was always running around, but I would always get hurt. And I would spend 6-7 months in a cast recovering from some broken bone, and of course gaining tons of weight, then getting fit again and hurting myself again. And the last time it happened, I had wrestled for a year, and you can see here I've still got a bit of cauliflower ear, which is a result of some wrestling.
Oh, yeah, some war scars.
Oh yeah, I hurt my shoulder while wrestling, and I had to stop playing sports for a while. And at that point, I ballooned up to the 296 pounds. I was really into academics. I was into sedentary activities like playing chess and even a bit of music. So I wasn't moving around a lot. So step one was just to get more active again. And I started playing rugby, and I joined a really great group of guys, really supportive and encouraging. Didn't matter how big or how out of shape I was, they were cheering me on every step of the way. And with the competitive sports, and starting to go to the gym for the very first time and eating a little bit healthier food, the weight started to fall off. At the same time, this was when I was at university, so there were some other distractions that often happen at university. Right, I was introduced to alcohol for the first time, and of course, the combination of alcohol and weight loss and healthy living doesn't always work out so well. I also got really heavily involved in music, and I have my degree in music. However, music is not the most active of activities, and when you're sitting down for 8 hours a day or longer, 7 days a week playing the bass or guitar or whatever it is, you're not totally active all the time. So that was another challenge that I had to overcome. But really, it wasn't until after I finished university I started traveling, and I've been traveling ever since. I've been pretty much on the road for the last 13 years. And it was during my travels that a few things happened. The first was I grew not only an appreciation, but also a love for all things outside and nature. And hiking, going on walks, being in the mountains, looking at a mountain and saying, I'm going to be on the top of that tomorrow or later today, and getting a lot more physical activity outside was a big game changer for me. Another thing is, of course, when you're away from home and you're away from university and you're living on your own and you're going from place to place, you still need to eat. So I had to teach myself how to cook. And I was interested in, of course, being a little bit healthier. So I had to learn some simple dishes that were not only, reasonably nutritious and tasted good and were also cheap. So being more active, learning how to cook was a big thing, and then doing it myself more regularly. And then kind of just consistency, Um, we'll say for the last 17 years, losing weight, being healthier has always been on my mind. And even in periods where we'll say I've relapsed and I've put on some weight, or maybe I didn't have the healthiest month or so, I would always come back to it. And it was always a part of my life. And I would never let myself go too far without pulling myself back in. And the combination of learning how to cook and getting an appreciation for healthy food, that was huge. And learning what healthy portion sizes are for my height and weight, how many calories I should be eating each day, how many calories are actually in a portion size, and all of the different foods that I was eating, finding ways to substitute old favorites and find new things that taste delicious and that I would rather eat, like beans, for example. My favorite food in the world, beans. If you would have said that to me, 17 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. But now I just absolutely love them. And then the physical exercise. And years ago, maybe 10 years ago or so, I was working with a guy, a fellow teacher, and he was really interested in the gym. So I started going to the gym with him, and he showed me all the basics that I know now, and pretty much everything I've learned in a recent personal trainer course I've completed. I got introduced to by him, and from that day forward, I've always been interested in the gym. I've gone, we'll say, hit or miss over the first number of years of it, periods where I was very active in the gym, periods where I would be very inactive. Some of that depended on, the country I was living in and what I was doing at the time. But it has always been there as well. And really over the last year and a half, right before starting this challenge, the push-up challenge, of course, it became a little bit more serious for me, even more consistent, and more a part of my life.
Awesome. In terms of your diet, do you subscribe to a specific diet? Have you experienced with different things like veganism or keto? If you have, what were your experiences with those, or do you just generally try to follow a balanced diet?
I've tried them all. Name a diet. I've probably tried it over the years, and some of them have had wonderful results. However, those results were normally very short lived. I remember the first diet I was ever obsessed with was the Warrior Diet by Ori Hofmeckler. I bought all his books. I read them cover to cover. I lived the Warrior Diet for a
Very
good period.
familiar with Ori.
Oh yeah, dude, I can't tell you how many hard-boiled eggs and how much spinach I ate. Oh, it was horrible. It was great. I actually really enjoyed it, and in that period, I was quite in shape. So I've done the Warrior Diet. I've done keto. I've done low carb. I've done uh, intermittent fasting, and really I've tried them all. And the thing that works for me is really no diet. Like I don't believe that the word diet works. In fact, I would like to see us remove the word diet from our vocabulary and instead replace it with nutrition. And to
Oh, I
me,
couldn't agree more.
the only long-term sustained success I have ever had is when I simply ate healthily. it didn't matter almost how much I ate or when I ate. I could eat in the morning, I could eat at night, I could eat in the middle of the day, I could fast one day and feast the next day. It didn't matter. As long as the majority of the foods that I was eating were fruits, vegetables, grains, limited meats, but some meats, but limited meats, and removing almost entirely things like sodas, milks, extra sugars, removing all of that, eating good food that I enjoy eating that is quote unquote healthy. That's the only thing that I credit towards maintaining weight loss over, we'll say maintaining 100-pound weight loss over the course of the last, I don't know, 10 years or so. Diets don't work, period. End of story. And if they do work, they're temporary. And for me, the issue is that diets, there's often there's an end date for a diet. I'm going to diet so that I look good at the wedding. I'm going to diet so that my friends don't laugh at me at the next university reunion. I'm going to diet because summer's coming and I let myself go over the winter. However, once that landmark is reached, what do you do afterwards? Do you keep doing the same diet? Do you keep restricting yourself? Do you keep suffering? No, of course you don't, right? You go back to the things that you used to enjoy doing, and the stress leading up to dieting is gone. So there are no restrictions anymore. They don't work, at least not in the long term. And what I'm interested in is, not how much weight I lose this week or next week. It's, how healthy am I going to be in 2020? How healthy am I going to be when I'm 40? How healthy am I going to be when I'm 50 and 60 and 70? And maintaining that for the rest of my life. So for me, nutrition is really, it's a consequence of lifestyle, not so much the diet that you choose to eat.
Yeah.
Right? I honestly feel that I could really eat anything, right? I could go out and I could get a pizza right now, and I can still make that work within a healthy nutrition plan. And some of that has to do with being more knowledgeable about calorie intake, energy expenditure, and knowing how to set limits, right? Knowing how to say, okay, I can enjoy this once in a while within the scope of a healthy lifestyle, as opposed to I need to restrict myself, not eat this for a brief period of time, and then, then I can do whatever I want once the diet's over. So for me, diets, no good. Yep.
Yeah, I completely agree. Diets almost become like religions too. They've got so many rules, and you can eat this, but you can't eat this, or not to call any of them out, because they all are cultish in nature for people that follow them too rigorously. But to your point, yeah, they are. They're temporary. They're almost like cleanses. They're not sustainable because there's too many things in all of them that are omitted, and it kind of takes the joy out of eating and experiencing new things. And I think as long as you stay on that average, and you have a few outliers, but you always go back to the average, you're probably pretty good. Paul Chek talks a lot about, just eat real food, or JERF, if you stay away from the inner aisles of the grocery store, you'll probably be pretty healthy, even if occasionally you wander through and get a box of cereal. So, yeah, I appreciate your thoughts on that. And, I thought maybe we could move on to the challenge itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 100 push-ups a day, like you said, that's not easy. All kinds of thoughts of overtraining and injury, and just sustainability, like keeping that up, it seems hard. So, how did you do it, and what challenges did you experience along the way?
Yeah, no, I'll tell you, it wasn't easy. And I think there were 2 points that were the most difficult. The first was days 2, 3, 4, and 5. My shoulders and my chest were on fire. Seriously, my body was not ready for what I set out to do. And, I'd gone to the gym and bench pressing, and I was experimenting with some push-ups before I started, and I was working on my form, and I would go online and I would look up every YouTube video I could find a proper push-up for, like, I don't want to hurt myself. But doing it the first couple of days was really, really tough. And it would have been so easy to say, nope, not doing it. Let's just give up right now. This is not going to work. But out of pure stubbornness, if nothing else, I said, no, I'm gonna keep doing this, and I've set out this goal, and I'm gonna make it happen. And one of the things I did for myself is I had a calendar up on the wall. And every single day that I did my push-ups, I would put a little smiley face sticker up on the day. And then, of course, you see 1 and 2 and 3, and you get a little streak going. And next thing you know, it's the full week, and then the full month is done. And there was a little part of me that just, I couldn't bear the sight of seeing, one day being missed. So having these little visual cues and little rewards that I could give myself, right? The act of putting the sticker on the calendar was very satisfying and rewarding. And I knew that
my wife's a teacher, and that's like the sticker charts for the kids. You little micro psychological cues to keep going.
Well, I'm a teacher too, so I definitely can relate to the motivation and my own inspiration for choosing this reward system. And yeah, it worked for me, and it may not work for everybody, but I do think it's important that you at least can recognize the work that you're doing and have some fun with it along the way. And for me, going out and buying all these little stickers and smiley faces and seeing them on the calendar, it was fun. The act of doing it was a part of the ritual of my daily push-ups and really of my day. So that was certainly a good part of doing it. Other challenges was just, if you do anything every single day, at some point it's going to get boring. At some point, the initial excitement of it starts to wane and fade. And it just becomes almost like a chore, another thing you have to do every single day, as opposed to something that you can get really excited about. And managing those ups and downs over the course of an entire year is certainly challenging. And this is something that required not motivation, but just sheer determination and persistence, and developing the characteristic of being able to do something that you maybe don't want to do that day, but still being able to do it, right? And this is something that's important not only for, trying to do 100 push-ups every day, but even going to the gym, right? If you've got a gym schedule Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it's Wednesday morning and you're tired and you couldn't be bothered, how do you get up the energy and the mental fortitude to just get out of bed and just go, right? And that was something that I had to develop over the course of the year. It's just this determination and persistence to do something when I didn't have the motivation to do it. But I'm glad I did it, because this is something that I can apply to all areas of my life, not just physical training and performance, but I can also apply that to my nutrition, right? It's easy to eat healthy when you're motivated and you're losing weight and everything's going well. But, if you're having a stressful day at work, or the weather's terrible, or whatever's going on in your brain, how do you resist the temptations to go eat a box of cookies, or, to go order a pizza as opposed to cook something healthy? And, if everything was easy and you were always motivated, nothing would be a challenge. You'd accomplish all of your dreams. But I do think the difference between people who follow through on their plans and the people who have, varying degrees of success are the ones who are able to say, I'm going to do this today. I don't want to, but I'm going to, because for no other reason, I'm going to do this today. So developing determination and consistency, just doing it over and over and over and over again, and realizing that, okay, maybe 100 push-ups today aren't going to develop a monster chest today. But if I keep doing it and I have faith in the process and I trust the process, I know that in time I will get results that are satisfactory, right? Even doing something like this, you may not achieve the results that you expected or hoped. And that was another reason I wanted to do this challenge and share it with the world, is to give people like a realistic expectation of how a body can change over time. I know you go on
man,
YouTube.
well, you look great.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, 100 push-ups a day. Did you do 100 at a time, or did you do sort of the Pavel Grease the Groove method of 10 here and there throughout the day, or did you try different combinations of that stuff?
Yeah, I switched it up a little bit. For the first 2 months or so, I was all about doing as many as I could and maxing out and trying to get to being able to do 100 in a row. I had it in my head that, all right, if I could do that, that would be unbelievable. Maybe I can get to 50, maybe I can get to 60, whatever it was. At the beginning, that was my goal. And on day one, I could do 14 in a row as a starting point, which was actually not too bad, right? It's not a totally weak starting point, but I could do 14. On day 2, I could do 7 because I was so tired. My arms hurt so bad. But over the course of 2 months, I got that up to 36 push-ups in a row, which is, significant. That's over 100% increase in the amount that I could do. But also starting that time, I said, okay, it's been 2 months. I going for maxing out maybe isn't the smartest way to go. Based on everything that I've learned and everything that I've seen online, this is a recipe for disaster, right? This is a recipe for me popping my shoulder, for me doing some serious damage. So I need to find a better way if I'm going to make it 10 more months into this challenge. And what I came up with was more of the 10 push-ups here, 10 push-ups there, 15 push-ups here, 20 push-ups there method. And instead of doing my push-ups at the beginning, like really fast, like, you see people like banging out push-ups, and it doesn't even look like they're moving. I said, no, I'm going to go slow. I'm going to use really good form. I'm going to bring my chest all the way to the ground. I'm going to hold the position for a second. I'm going to push all the way back up. And I'm going to do these right. And if I spread them out over the course of the day, I should be able to get enough rest to recover and not hurt myself and never max out. And I should get better gains, right? I should get better gains if I'm performing them more completely, full range of motion at a slower tempo, increasing the time under tension. And sure enough, if you go back and you look at the progression, I think it was really between month 2 and month 3, right? At the end of month 3, where I even saw the first big difference. And I said, oh man, like, okay, like I'm not there yet, but like I can see the form is there, the chest is starting to look good, like the shoulders are starting to pop. And I credit a lot of that to doing better push-ups and just being more conscious about how I perform the exercise every single day.
Awesome. Did you use a variety of different push-ups, or did you kind of try to stick with the same one for the sake of the experiment so you don't destroy the results?
Yeah, I stuck only standard push-ups. It was the only thing I did for the entire year. And some of it was to maintain we'll say the scientific integrity of the experiment. Different push-up variations can, focus on different parts of the body. Diamond push-ups might hit more triceps, and other types of push-ups will hit more shoulders, and you name it. But really, I was focused on the chest development, doing your standard push-up. And I wanted to keep it simple. I wanted this to be something that anyone watching my video who was interested in doing it would be able to say, okay, I could do a standard push-up. If I do it the same way that he did it, I could expect similar results to him, if not better results with a better program and better nutrition and even more dedication than I put into it. So only standard push-ups, and I didn't experiment with a single other push-up.
Well, you got to control the variables, or the science community will come after you as not sticking to it. But
exactly.
That is, so did you have any injuries or setbacks throughout that, or were you able to maintain your health and your joints throughout the whole year?
Dude, I like to say that, and I love hearing, the introduction. This is Jack Clancy. He did 100 push-ups for a day for an entire year. But really, I need to put an asterisk next to that, because it should be titled, I tried to do 100 push-ups every single day for the year. And I say tried because on day 355, 356 of 366 days, I suffered a minor injury, and I stopped doing my push-ups for the last 10 days, which was devastating. It destroyed my world to do something for so long, and then right at the finish line, my body gave up on me. And I maybe could have pushed through and have been stubborn and just done one push-up at a time for the last 10 days. But even I, with lofty ambitions and big challenges and big goals and a lot of determination, even I said, okay, like I did this challenge because I wanted to improve my body. I wanted to improve my physique, not because I wanted to hurt myself or necessarily prove anything to anybody. So if I need to rest, okay, my body's telling me it's time, like it's over. 355, 356 days is what I can do. Let me rest, let me recover, and as soon as I'm 100% again, we'll get back to it. And my training will hopefully be even better with all the knowledge and experience I will gain trying to do this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't feel bad about missing 10 days. I mean, most people wouldn't even try something like this. And you don't need, obviously, me to tell you what an accomplishment that is.
Right.
But I've known lots of guys that have tried incredible things just to prove that you can do them. I know Timothy Sheaf. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's a
No.
Ninja Warrior athlete in the UK.
Mhm.
He's a former vegan, which sort of made him um, quasi famous because that caused a lot of controversy. But he tried fasting for 40 straight days on water, and he made it to I think day 32 or around there before his doctor said your teeth are going to fall out, and you know your organs are starting to shrink to the point where you could die. So, you know, the fact that you're doing things and inspiring people is amazing. And
I
you know,
appreciate that, Mike. Yeah.
oh, I'm sure, man. Like, I just, you know, I've done some reflecting myself after reading your story about other things I could do and how much, you know, more discipline I could even have. You know, even being in a fitness business myself, I don't stick to it as much as I should and eat as well as I should. And I have three small kids, so the pizza and sometimes other fast food in between ball games and things can sneak its way in, and then all of a sudden that becomes the new habit. So,
Yep.
um, you know, I think, you know, one last thing. What kind of advice would you give to other people that are, you know, in your shoes, the way you were at 17, being overweight, people that want to, you know, maybe not do an incredibly insane challenge like you did, but want to start down that path toward losing the weight, getting healthier, and trying to experience a better life?
Yeah, I mean, if I could go back and talk to myself 17 years ago, there's so much to say. The simplest thing is to realize that you don't have to do it all in one day, right? Consistency is more valuable than going absolutely gangbusters for a couple of days, burning out and giving up, which is, I think, the pattern that a lot of people fall into when it comes to losing weight and exercising and even, you know, studying languages and you name it. They go nuts. They're super motivated. They go absolutely wild. And then, you know, a distraction happens or stress comes back into their life, or they miss a day and then it turns into 2 days and then it's over. That's no good. A little bit every single day is really extremely powerful. And if you think of investing and compound interest, right? You invest $1 today, and then $1 tomorrow, and then $1 the next day, and then you start developing interest on that, and then that interest develops interest, and next thing you know you're wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. And I think health and fitness can be much more like that as well. For example, a simple thing to do for someone who's completely sedentary would be walk for 30 minutes every single day. It's nothing crazy, you know. Anyone can do that. Let me rephrase. Any healthy individual can do that. Um, and introducing that into your life as a starting point, and then little by little pushing yourself and challenging yourself to do something a little bit more. Maybe, you know, a 30-minute jog turns into going to the gym twice a week. You know, introduce yourself to that, and if you do that consistently over a very long period of time, the results will be shockingly impressive. um, and that applies not only to the training, but of course also the nutrition, right? You can start by eliminating carbonated and sugary beverages from your diet, and just do that, and do that for a little while, until you know you come to really enjoy and appreciate the taste of water and tea and other beverages. And you know, once you've got that down, introduce something else, right? Instead of eating sugary cereals or huge Irish English breakfasts in the morning, start experimenting with oatmeal, you know, and
Yeah.
introduce that in little by little. And now you've got, you know, better drinking habits and a better breakfast. And, you know, as you're exercising and maybe seeing some results, that will increase the motivation, which will lead to other changes. And my big, big message is that small things done consistently lead to big results. So you don't have to think you have to change everything today. Change one thing, focus on that, get it down really well, add something else little by little, and you will achieve awesome things. And if you're 17, I mean, my God, you have your whole life ahead of you. Um, if you start
Forget I said that.
we'll
But
change it to
Chase
AIDS
girls
here.
have fun,
Yeah.
or who, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and quite honestly, when you're that young, you don't appreciate your body for what it is and what it can do. You know, when you're young, you can run around and play sports all day, and you can get injured, and your body recovers so fast, and you can go running all day long and come home and wake up and do it all over again the next day. Man, as you get older and past injuries start to creak in, it's just it's not the same as it used to be.
Yeah.
And having a healthy body when you're young, where you can go out and run and play and be in nature and hike a mountain and go surfing and swim all day long and be comfortable in your body and added self-confidence, and not to mention perhaps the looks from the boys and girls looking at you. That's such a wonderful thing that you don't want to miss out on. Not that it's
Yeah.
everything, not that it's the most important thing, but it's certainly important for a lot of people, and it's
Yep.
certainly something that I was lacking when I was growing up.
Well, I like how you tied a couple things together there. One is that, life is really a marathon. It's not a sprint. And I think a lot of people treat health, investing, everything in their life that way. I don't know if that's a byproduct of social media and seeing all these people out there who post pictures of themselves on vacation and with, what I presume to be fake Lamborghinis, but
and possibly
it really is.
fake bodies too.
Yeah, fake
Everything's
bodies,
fake.
everything, um, and fitness and health. It really is. It's to enrich the rest of our lives, and so it's about sustainability over the long term. So you're always able to enjoy the moment, not just today, but forever. And yeah, I think the other thing, you don't have to change everything all at once, like you said. I mean, I think everybody thinks that, especially because we have this, I don't know what it's like in Europe, but here in America, as I'm sure you're familiar with, it's a professional development, obsessed culture of motivation. And oftentimes people get anxiety because they think, I got to reinvent everything in my entire life. I bought this book about biohacking. I'm going to change my finances. I'm going to change my clothes, the way I look, the way I eat, the way I work out. Next thing you know, you have a nervous breakdown from it. And,
Yep.
yeah, and it's about, those little small changes over time.
No, I'll tell you, I recognize those tendencies not only here in Europe, but in many of the countries that I've lived in around the world. Although I will say it is particularly pronounced in American culture. And I grew up largely in America as well. So I'm familiar with those tendencies. And in fact, I even have to fight those sometimes off myself. There's a lot of pressure
Hmm.
that we put on ourselves based on what we see and what we consume to be a certain way and to have it now. And man, it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. So where have you lived? Is teaching taking you around the world, or just an intrigue, just the
Yeah, no,
wanting to
absolutely.
discover?
It first led me to South Korea, where I taught at a private language institution there. And my time in Asia led me to Australia, where I did a lot of volunteer work, and you name it, I was involved in it, whether it was construction or working with animals. I had a lot of fun just volunteering and helping people out around the country. Eventually, I ended up in Mexico for quite some time, also as a teacher at a primary school. I was in Guatemala for some time, mostly as a student, learning Spanish and hiking. Man, I
Hmm.
hiked everything that you could find in that country. I was on top of it. And then most recently, I had spent a little over 4 years in Peru, working in a education volunteer travel organization. And I was heavily involved in Spanish and English classes, volunteer programs, internships, lots of other wonderful things. And now I've been in the Netherlands for the last 2 years. And one of the things that I've been working on is getting away from exchanging my time for money and doing your normal 9 to 5, or in the case of some of the jobs that I've had, 5 in the morning to 9 at night, crazy hours, and working for uh, less 9 to 5, less exchanging time for money, but more creating things like my website, like the YouTube videos, and trying to make a new lifestyle for myself. That's been the goal, and that was one of the major inspirations for my website and the YouTube. Beyond the personal change, beyond the physical transformation, beyond inspiring others and helping others, I also wanted to learn and experiment and create and to explore this wonderful world of the internet more deeply for the very first time.
Cool. Well, all right, Jack, I want to thank you for your time and doing this on such short notice with us. Like we said, your story is inspiring. You've probably inspired millions of people, and enjoy going viral and all the success that you've had. And you're welcome to come back and hang out and talk to us anytime about anything fitness, personal development related. So we will. We look forward to speaking with you in the future, I hope. And thanks again for, if anybody wants to learn more about you and follow you, where can they get you?
Yeah, you can find me at my website, fatbrokestupid.com, and also on YouTube. My YouTube channel name is just my name, Jack Clancy. You can find me in either one of those. And as far as YouTube goes, I respond to every single one of my comments. I make it a point to communicate with everyone who takes the time and interest to watch my video and communicate with me. Less so on the website. So if you want to get in touch with me, find me on YouTube. And Michael, it's been an absolute pleasure getting a chance to talk to you and share my story and talk about health and fitness. I loved it. I'd be happy to come back anytime.
All right, man. Well, thanks again. If you wouldn't mind, stick around real quick after the interview and let's chat real quick. All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thanks, everybody. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and the notifications button on YouTube for all things Train for Longevity. And we will talk to you again next time. Thanks.